You're listening to Cards to the Moon, a podcast about trading cards from both a collector and investor perspective. We hope you'll stick around for the ride as we take a deep dive into the state of the hobby, share some hot takes, hopefully some useful advice, and fun stories along the way. Hey guys, welcome back to Cards to the Moon. This is episode 238. My name is Clark from 5cardguys.com and 5cardguys on Instagram. Hosting with me as usual is Hyung of Integrity Sports Cards and John, who is Trade You at Recess. All right, off the top today, as of this recording on Thursday, September 12th, the one-of-one Topps Now triple autograph U.S. Olympic basketball card of LeBron, KD, and Steph Curry hasn't surfaced yet, but that could change by the time this records. We'll see. I'm still waiting personally for my 3 cards that I bought to be shipped out to me. So fingers crossed. Still not sure if it's going to be a SP pack that I get. And I believe our friends Will and Roy, they're still waiting for theirs. So it's kind of slow to get to here in Canada, but we'll see. But the one-of-one non-autograph version of the card was pulled. Okay, and if you didn't hear, Geoff Wilson, aka Sports Card Investor, he offered $25,000 US for that card, and the seller declined, and instead he put it up for auction with Golden. So my question to you guys off the top, what would you have done? Take the $25K from Geoff, or auction it off to Golden, or something else entirely?
I personally would have go with Golden. I feel like Geoff Wilson, his offers are like low balls. They're like meh. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, play with the big boys. Play with, like Blez throwing the $1 million bounty, and then I forgot what the last thing was, and he had to increase his his thing. So I would say I would pass on Geoff Wilson's offer. And I see it in the comments too. People are like, "Oh, the card's not worth $500." It's mind blowing to like hear stuff like that, because it's like, what makes you conclude that that's not worth like $500? Because I think people don't understand that it's not up to them what they think it's worth, and the fact that they wouldn't buy it for $500. So they think that's the value of it. So I think there's a lot of misconception with value in general with a lot of people in the hobby, because that's the common comments I see on like, why would somebody pay, $25,000 for this card? Well, it's because there's only one, and one person, all it takes is, one person to pay whatever they think is worth it. And then you get a bidding war, and that's how it goes. Right. So, and I think with the hype around it, I think it will do pretty well. And I think, well, luckily for you guys are still waiting on your cards, and the auto hasn't been pulled. Because if both were pulled, then it's like, I think you guys would lose value on the wait. So I hear a lot of complaints about the wait, because each day, obviously on release, cards are going for like crazy prices. So, but yeah, I think overall, I would go to Golden Auctions just because I think they'll just get more eyes on it, and I think it'll do fairly well for a non-auto card. I don't think it's worth that much by no means. Like, I wouldn't be a buyer, for instance, but there is someone that's gonna buy it for sure.
Yeah, Geoff Wilson.
you gotta. I think you gotta pull out a little more than the $25K.
Maybe he'll bid on during the Golden auction. We'll see. But how about you, John?
I think I would have taken the 25 grand.
Really?
That seems pretty juicy. Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I would have taken that and ran with it. And wasn't Geoff willing to fly you out and go to the headquarters and all that stuff? There's a bit of bonus on top.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say that for some people that means nothing. If you enjoy Geoff Wilson's content, and I'm sure it would have been a pretty special experience, somewhat. But I think I would have taken, when we talk about manufactured rarity, that's it. Like, one of a photo is okay. Like it's not like it's not a superfractor. I don't think the design was anything crazier. And really, the popularity of that card is because everybody's trying to chase the triple auto,
Mm-hmm.
right? The on-card auto of 3 will be legendary NBA players. Like that is the autographs. I don't consider manufactured rarity because that's a cool chase, right? But the one of one of just the image is pretty manufactured. So like to me, I can get why somebody would be like, I think it's only worth $500. Like obviously, it's not just. That's a little bit absurd. It's a bit of an extreme point. I get what that person's trying to say. Like I don't really see too much value in a Topps Now image, out of 25, out of 5, out of 1, which is the same with maybe a little bit of like a rainbow sheen. Like that's really manufactured. So it's nothing too special to me. So 25 grand, that's a pretty juicy offer. And I get why you would go to Golden, because you might think to yourself, well, like Geoff, there's 25 on the table. Geoff is probably willing to go to that amount on Golden, so I'm at least guaranteed that and maybe more. But if Geoff is the highest bidder, you're gonna lose out on fees. I don't know what it is, 8% or 10% or 12%, yada yada yada. So I don't know. For me, I would have taken a 25 grand and ran with it.
Knowing that too, though, you could take you could bid, you could try to buy it for 20 if that's the case, because you could sell it to Geoff for 25. So you're gonna get the 25, right? Because Geoff named his price.
Whoever steals it for 15 grand, just flip it over to Geoff Wilson.
Or Geoff Wilson would be the bidder, right? So
would be, yeah, and he would steal it for 15. That's true.
Yeah. No, I mean, I was thinking about this question, and I think I would try to negotiate with Geoff. I'm like, okay, 35. Let's do 35, and then it's yours. Just get a little bit more, because he really wants it. Like he wants it bad. I don't know if you saw the clip where he has a ton of U.S. Olympic basketball memorabilia and other cards. So he's a true collector of these things. So if you know that he's really looking to add more cards and memorabilia to his already growing collection, then I think there's room for negotiation, right? But to be fair, his 25,000 comp was, he said, based on the 5 of 5 or the out of 25 that sold, and he was just kind of,
I think out of 24, it's like out of 24, I think it sold for 3,600.
Okay, yeah. So
yeah, I think 25 is pretty. I mean, it's a pretty decent educated offer.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that for sure. I just wonder if the hype is big enough to go over that. You know what I mean? Like, is there all you need is one major bidder to go over that amount, right?
Well, two technically, yeah.
Yes, two.
Yeah, two technically.
So, and Golden, definitely they're going to try to market the crap out of that, right? So, yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm curious to see where it ends. All right.
Quick question on that, Clark. What if the person that purchased that ended up getting it in person autoed by all three? Would that take away from the original 101 auto, or would that increase the value closer to the original 101? Because if they have, how much is it? Like $1 million bounty?
Yeah.
So why doesn't like
500,000?
500,000. So like if I was like LeBron or Steph Curry, I would buy it and then get them to sign it.
I think KD would do something like that. I think he's more into the collectible space. I don't think LeBron cares. I don't think Steph Curry cares as much. But and if you're just a collector trying to get the 3, I don't think LeBron will sign.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
The other 2 guys probably will, but I'm not sure LeBron will. He's a businessman. But yeah, good question. Good thought. All right, let's move on to hobby headlines. So if you're a regular listener of our podcast, we talk about all kinds of sports cards, different sports, but we naturally gravitate towards baseball cards. It's kind of our first love. So just for this segment, I want to focus on 3 baseball card sets that were just released recently. And let's discuss the pros and cons of each set, the chase cards, and whether you think you'd be interested in buying a hobby box. All right. So first, the 2024 Bowman Chrome. We love this set, for the prospects and for the first Bowman Chrome rookie autos. There's also the retro factors that were included a few years ago as well. And yes, there's a bounty for one of the cards. We'll get into that in just a second. But first, Hyung, I'm going to throw this to you actually. Who would you say are the prospects you're looking to hit in this set?
I think in this set, I would say in general, like Bowman Chrome is usually, I would say, the weakest out of the 3. I know that sounds crazy because I think over the last couple years they've stepped it up a bit. But in the past, I know Bowman Chrome wasn't as sought after as the original, Bowman release in March, and then you got Bowman Draft at the end of the year. But in general, I like Bowman Chrome because of you get 2 autographs, which isn't bad. Bowman Draft, you usually get 3, and then Bowman, you get 1. So in general, I think autograph hits are great. Price point is great. I think they're selling for $279. So I don't mind this rip. I've been a fan of Bowman Chrome in general because there are rookie autos too. And I think that's what saves this product is you have a good rookie class with a bunch of rookie autos that's basically gonna complement it. But I would only say I would be interested in 3 to 4 guys within this set. And you got to remember if you look back and see how many guys actually pan out from these sets, it's a small percentage at the end of the day. But with prospecting, it's all about timing and when you sell. And a lot of these big time prospects, they're going to be the chase. So they're going to be super, super inflated. A perfect example is Ethan Salas. He was massive chase last year. And, as soon as the hype kind of died down and he struggled, he was 17 years old playing in A-ball. So of course the kid's going to struggle. So it's just a matter of time. This year he struggled a bit, and I believe his prices are way down, even though he's one of the top prospects coming up. But in this set in particular, same thing. It's obviously Leo DeVries is kind of like the chase. I would agree. This is a guy that regardless of set, I would be ecstatic to pull. And I think he's very interesting, especially, and it's very similar story with the Padres, how they're bringing their really, really young kids up in A-ball out in Lake Elsinore. And I think part of that reason is, the California League in general. It used to be high A when I was playing it. I believe it's low A now, and it's a hitter's park. So you see guys that have really good numbers, specifically in Lake Elsinore for the Padres. You got even Jackson Merrill, even Robert Hassell, guys who are prospects coming up. They always had great offensive numbers at Lake Elsinore, which is in California for the Padres. But I would be worried that the next year they go in high A, that's back in the Midwest League. So I believe it might be South Bend. I forgot who the Padres are with in the Midwest League. And someone like Leo DeVries, super young, it's going to be cold, really cold when they break spring training next year. So I don't expect numbers to be great, even though Leo DeVries is hitting 240 with 11 bombs as a 17-year-old in A-ball right now, which is great, and 300 at bats. That's kind of impressive. So I do like his tools. I'm just very wary of his prices and what his prices are going to be in the next I would say 2-3 months, I think it's going to be way overpriced, but I do believe in his talent. So there's that. Remember, prospects is all about when you buy. So I think if you're ripping and you pull him, I think you have a choice of whether to sell high or, you believe in the talent, you kind of keep. But he would be the one guy that I'm like, okay, I really like. Jose Perdomo is another chase on Atlanta Braves. And I kind of laugh at this because shout out to DC, because last time he was prospect chasing an Atlanta Brave shortstop, it was Kevin Maitan, right? So, he was a huge prospect, signed for $4 million back in 2016 or whatever it was, and he didn't pan out. And the Braves really haven't had any big time prospects, I would say, since. I think their big prospects would have been Wilson Betterment and Andrew Jones, like touted. And you guys got to remember, Ronald Acuna Jr. signed for $100,000. So these guys are signed for $4 million. So that just gives you an idea of like the hype prospect. Jose Perdomo, I don't mind at all. Like, I think he's going to be a solid player, but like I said, it's too early to know with these kids. And I think he's going to have enormous hype. So if you pull him, I think he's a sell and maybe a buyback later. Texas Rangers have amazing, prospects coming up. I think they're going to be super strong in this set, particularly Paulino Santana. I think he's a guy that has enormous amounts of plate discipline. And a lot of these guys are like 17 years old. They're super, super young. So like Paulino plays in the Dominican Summer League. So you never know. They could find success in the Dominican Summer League. They come over here. They deal with adversity. It's a different country, different food, different atmosphere. As a 17-year-old, it's like, what were you guys doing when you're 17? Right? And it's like, now you're living on your own, surviving on your own in a different country. So I think a lot of these guys that come from the island and come over to play, I think there's bigger challenges. So and it's too young, right? And then last guy I would say that interests me is Emil Morales of the Dodgers, because obviously, you have the Dodgers as being kind of like one of the most popular teams right now with all the hype. And as a prospect, as a big time prospect, I think you're going to get a lot of attention. And he is absolutely demolishing the Dominican Summer League right now. He has 14 home runs, in probably like 200 plate appearances or whatever it is, hitting 340. So he's doing really well in the Dominican Summer League. So I think he's gonna be a chase, as well as there's a lot of other, I would say, tier 2 guys that, fit in the product. But in general, like it's a great rip in my opinion at 279. And if you do hit, I think you have a selling opportunity, but it's definitely not something that, I get more excited of Bowman and Bowman Draft than Bowman Chrome itself. But the incentive is the rookie autos. Like, you got a really strong rookie class with the rookie autos with Jackson Holiday, Jackson Merrill, Jackson Churio. So there is a lot of incentive on the rookie side. So I don't mind the strip. I'm always down for Bowman Chrome, especially if it's not inflated. 279 is very reasonable for 2 autos with a bunch of base cards. And I'll say this to end it, like, what I like about prospecting is I take it back to like 2020 when there was enormous amounts of hype with Jason Dominguez and Bobby Witt Jr. and Volpe wasn't even a chase at the time. But, I look back and I'm just going through, I'll show you, like, there's a stack of like Bobby Witt Jr. base first that I just collected over the years. And obviously they were worth nothing at the time because Bobby Witt Jr. was barely a chase. I remember pulling a refractor auto that sold for like $200-300. So these base first paper, even chromes, they're really not, they're worthless kind of when you start breaking. But then, I held for, they just sat in a box, and then I look at pricing and PSA 10s are, reaching between $50 and $100. The chromes are over $100, and you're just like, hey, this is a pretty good stack. I'll take a look and grade them. And, if I get them for $13 and I send off, 20 of them, I think it's a good way to make your money back eventually. And I think people don't take that into consideration. as much as, oh, this product is a ripoff and you won't get your money back. But if you're a collector and you enjoy it, I love going through my cards, 3-4 years down the road. I'm like, man, this is an awesome card that's just sitting in a common card junk pile that's, worth something. I also found a 2017 Bowman Aaron Judge rookie card, just paper, but has a good chance of PSA 10ing, and it's $180 if it PSA 10s, right? So that's the thing with prospecting. I love it. I love the whole prospect game. I love that they're short cycles, but you got to just do your research and make sure you know when to sell. And that's all prospecting is. Know when to buy, when to sell, because you could have someone that's worthless become a superstar in the big leagues, and now his prices are insane. You thought it was just a crappy auto, right? So
yeah, no, thanks for that. We always like to go to you, Hyung, for every time Bowman Chrome releases, because we know you're the expert on the rookies and the prospects that are coming up. So just to your point, there's already been some early sales of Leo DeVries. If you're curious, there's a blue wave now, I guess. I don't know if they're just adding parallels now, but there's a blue wave that's numbered to 150. Leo DeVries sold for $629. All right. The base one, it was listed for $550, but best offer was accepted. So, unless you get a rare parallel, you're probably not getting your money's back right away.
Right.
It's what, like you said, you got to hold on to it and hopefully they pan out, right? There was a atomic or a speckle. It's numbered to 100. I think it's atomic refractor.
Yeah.
So that's sold for $2,500.
Crazy.
So that's your big sale.
Yeah, and that's way overpriced in my opinion. And that's fine. It's good. It's like somebody wants to try to take their chances and make a few $100 off that. Go for it. Yep. But yeah, it's all hype. They're still young, man. There's so many years, and I could see Leo literally hitting 200 next year. I mean, he might tear it up too. So there's that. If he tears it up, then you got the best of both worlds. Like the Jackson Holiday types, where it never goes down, the prices, unless they make the major leagues and they crap the bed. But yeah, it's just too early at this stage. So there's a good selling period and buying period. There's going to be a lot of them through these young prospects. For
sure. What do you think, John?
I think it's coming from more of a casual. I think that it's a pretty good product, right? What Hyung mentioned about the pro rookie autos, I think that's a great element of somebody like me that would want to open this product, because not only the prospect chasing side, I would lean on somebody, a friend like Hyung that knows what to chase, or at least you watch some YouTube videos to know what to chase. So there's that element, but then you also get the chase of the pro rookies, which is a nice added touch. And then, the bounties and all of that stuff. So that's sort of going around these days. So overall, I think it's a pretty beefy product to rip open. Yeah. And obviously it's very contingent on the rookie class here for the pros and also the prospects. So if everything aligns perfectly, it could be a monstrous product. But in general, in concept, it's a pretty decent product.
Yeah, I agree. And I was going to ask you if you thought this, based on the rookie class, would it be one of those products you hold? You just buy the wax and you hold, but that's a risky game too, right? I thought when Chris Bryant was the hot thing, that box was going to be crazy, but now it's just tanked because Chris Bryant's career went one way and other rookies didn't pan out, right? So at the same time, you only need one superstar hot rookie to just go off, and that player will just carry the box price, in the set, right? So anything Shohei's in, for example, obviously, but yeah, I agree with you. Chrome rookie autos are fun to chase. I think you already mentioned a couple Young. Ellie De La Cruz is in it, right? White Langford, Yamamoto,
Imanaga.
Jackson Merrill,
good list.
Churio, you mentioned, yeah, for sure. You also mentioned this, John. The bounty. There is 2 retrofractors. I feel like they've been doing this for the last 2-3 years, and they've been including 2 retrofractor cards. And if you don't know what a retrofractor is, the way Topps explains it is that the retrofractor, quote, is celebrates legendary players across 100 years of baseball who never received their first Bowman card, end quote. Right? So in previous years, you had Babe Ruth, Roberto Clemente, Bob Gibson, and then there were autograph versions of those legends that are still living, including Pete Rose and Johnny Bench, if you guys remember. This year, in the 2024 set, is Sandy Koufax, who is alive and who does have some autograph cards. So that's a good chase. And there's a Lou Gehrig retrofractor. Obviously, he's not alive, but the 1-of-1 superfractor card, retrofractor card, David Adams put a $100,000 bounty on that. So your thoughts on the bounty, your thoughts on retrofractor cards in general?
It's the same as last year. Nothing changes for me. I think it's manufactured. It's not something I would be pumped if I pulled. Don't get me wrong, but like I said, if I wanted a Pete Rose auto, I could catch him at the casino and get him to sign or whatever it is, right? Like, right. You know what I mean? It's and then with these bounties, these David Adams bounty, it's like, well, like it's they have to keep this going, and we don't know what the deal is with David Adams and let's just say Topps and Fanatics, like what the deal is. Maybe it's a deal in products where they're offsetting for you to manufacture this bounty to keep the product hot or keep a chase going. And to me, it's just like, I get it. Like it's good to keep, I guess, people interested in it. But at the end of the day, you know that the fundamentals and foundations aren't there to keep price point at that. So this is what we're talking about when I say manufactured value. Like it's not necessarily true value where it's like, well, will this price hold because there are multiple people that are willing to pay $100,000 for this? Probably not. It's just one entity, and it's a lottery ticket that you're like, okay, that's the chase. If I get it, perfect. I could cash out at $100K. Other than that, there's no value in these retrofractors. Maybe it's a cool PC collector's piece, and I would be thrilled too. It's like, I think they're cool as a PC card, because when you said, you know, these guys that didn't have Bowman Chromes and now you could pull them, cool. But to me, it's not something that I'm buying this product for. It's just an additional bonus that it's just like, you know what? If I do happen to hit the superfractor, I have a way of cashing out. Other than that, somebody might pay $2,000 for it or $3,000 on the market, right? So it's the same as last year. I don't know what the prices are on the Babe Ruth last year, but I imagine that, you know, no one's really like, man, I really want that Babe Ruth retrofractor.
Yeah, definitely tanked for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, for David Adams, you know, isn't it just a no-brainer for them to do that? Because with this manufactured value and this bounty, it'll get more and more people to
buy it,
rip with David Adams or with breakers, and they want to keep that going, right? So I mean, it's a smart business move in my opinion. You just hope that it doesn't get pulled right away. Then you know, that's the, you know, the downside.
Wait, hang on. Is the bounty only if you rip with David Adams?
No, I think they'll buy it. No. They'll buy it. Whoever,
yeah. For the bounty's great. Number one, because as a collector, you're like, yeah, somebody's gonna be willing to pay me $100,000 for a card that's worth like $500. Like, yeah, hell yeah, I'll take that. So in that aspect, it's great. And I have to imagine, like, David Adams as a business, they're not idiots, right? You know, if you're pretty well into the hobby, it doesn't take much to realize a retrofractor is not worth $100,000. There has to be some business incentive behind this, and we've talked about this many times. So I think for us collectors, the more and more, if Topps you can't hate on it. If Topps comes out in partnership with David Adams or Geoff Wilson, and all these people are putting bounties on, that is amazing, because that means we have more to chase, right? If that means I wouldn't have bought a box, but now I'm going to buy a box, so be it. But at least for me as a collector, I have a lottery ticket here, so that's great. But yeah, retrofractors in general, like we talked about it last time, they're as manufactured as it gets. Like, the concept is nice. Is it worth anything? I wouldn't like. I personally wouldn't be like, I have to collect this. This is going into my personal collection. I don't. There's no real drive to really want. Um, the live autos of the existing legends, I think that's awesome. If all of these retrofractors, the one of ones, had the autos or the whatever, I think that's great. And what did you say? Was it Lou Gehrig? Like at least if the one of one had like a cut auto, I think that would have been awesome. Like that,
Ooh.
would that bounty be like $100,000 or whatever? I still don't think so, but that would make the card legitimately a chase and not just manufactured rarity. One of one of an image of not even like his actual vintage card. That's manufactured. But if there was a cut auto involved, yeah, I think that would have been great.
I like that idea. Yeah, that's a great idea. Just to kind of, you're talking about what the value is of like even Babe Ruth. I was just curious. So Babe Ruth gold retrofractor. Remember when it was like the hype?
Right.
And now there's a few graded versions. A PSA 10 version sold last year in October for $2,750. Okay, that's a PSA 10 Babe Ruth gold retrofractor. Yeah. And so what was that? I said $2,750, and it sold again this year in May for $1,100. So
there you go.
Yeah, and I think that's even high.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sure you can get it for under $1,000 now for sure. Yeah.
I'd rather put $1,000 into like Babe Ruth's actual vintage card, not the retrofractor.
Right. I don't know what kind of vintage
card
you can get though
pretty,
with 1,000.
Yeah,
it's got to be ripped in half.
Spokes and
yeah, for sure. All right. The next set I wanted to talk about is 2024 Topps Pro Debut. All right. So they're minor league cards of some of the top prospects in the game, including Jackson Holliday, Wyatt Langford, and Paul Skeens, who of course have all been called up already to the big leagues. Now, I don't know about you, but I always thought the Pro Debut set always looked a little cheap. And maybe it's because the product itself is usually under $100. So it is one of those affordable sets. But this year, I might be biased because I love the design of the Topps flagship cards this year, and the Topps Chrome as well. And the Pro Debut cards pretty much look like them, except with the minor league team names on the top right corner, right? So another thing is, in this year's Pro Debut, there's a SSP variation cards of some of the top prospects, like the three players I mentioned, Holiday, Langford, and Skeens, which are image variations, but they're also green foil parallels. So it's not just another paper card with a different photo of the player. Okay, so that's a little added element. I don't know if that's big enough for you guys to be more interested, but what do you think about the Pro Debut set in general?
I think it's not for me, I would say. But I do appreciate it because it is definitely a cheaper rip. I think over the last year, I think it's gained a lot more popularity with people because of, especially just recently with that one of one Paul Skeens auto that was pulled, right? Yeah, so I mean, like that's a pretty crazy card. And if you think about it, it might be the broke man's Bowman. Bowman's so expensive. Like it's always gonna be expensive, and there's a lot of people that don't play in that game because of the price point. So I love the fact that there's an alternative of prospects and minor leaguers that you could still chase. And I've been in the hobby for the last, I'd say 5 years or so, and there are a lot of people that still like Pro Debut, and I think the price point is the attractiveness, but like it's pretty cool to have a minor league card of Ronald Acuna Jr. or whoever your future superstar is. So I think there is a niche from a collection standpoint. I don't like the sticker autos. I think that kind of devalues it a lot, which makes sense because of the price point. But I do think that it has a lot of potential. I think if Fanatics runs it properly, I think it's a cool niche, and keep it cheap. Don't increase the price on it. I do like that they do include Chrome cards as a part of it, and I think all the Chrome cards are refractors, which is cool. And mixing it's because paper's so boring, right? Like, especially if there's no parallels or there's limited parallels, and that's why paper has always been boring, because you have a 300 card set, at least in the MLB paper sets like Series 1 and Series 2. You have 350, and parallels before them increasing parallels. It's like usually your Topps Gold out of the year number, and then it goes down to like double digit numbered, right? They added like the purple foil, red foil, whatever, all these different foils now to paper. But in general, I think paper is losing its luster, especially in a minor league set. So I do like the fact that they do implement Chrome. I wish the autographs were Chrome, like a Topps Chrome pro debut autograph. I think that would be cool because they are paper autos. But in general, no complaints with this. I like the product. I think people will enjoy it. It gets introduces a whole different price point. So for me, no complaints.
Mm-hmm.
Not for me though. I'm a Bowman Chrome guy. Yeah.
Right.
I feel Pro Debut is what Bowman First was supposed to be, right? Bowman First is so unique to baseball because it's a draft card, but they superimpose like MLB licensed images, so that it feels like a rookie card, and now it actually has become like the main rookie card, right? But in any other league, right now you have college basketball cards that are coming out. Hockey, there's ITG, which is like all of the CHL products. Like they're nice if you're like a hardcore McDavid fan and you have like Erie Otters, McDavid, ITG.
Right.
Like, yeah, it's cool. It's not worth much, but it's like a nice, cool chase for kids or for like a more hardcore collector. Like that's what I feel like Bowman Draft and all that was supposed to be, but it exploded in its own unique way. So to me, Pro Debut, which is supposed to be kind of like more of a college, pre-pro product, there is a niche window for it, like Hyung is right. But because I think Bowman took over and baseball's so unique, I don't feel like there's any space really for Pro Debut. And I'm sure there's a lot of, spring training, minor league fans out there that want to collect their pro player in that kind of uniform. So there's definitely like a niche area for it. But I don't know. I don't feel like this product really belong. There's a history with this product. It's been around, and this might ruffle a bunch of feathers. But I don't know. I could care less about Pro Debut. I think it's sort of like a redundant non-product that at this point shouldn't really exist.
I think you brought up some great points. It is kind of backwards. Yeah, for sure. I didn't really think about it that way. Like, why release it now after they've been in the big leagues? A lot of them have. And to your point, it looks like I agree with you. It should have been what Bowman First is. And I was just fact checking. It looks like the Chrome is a base Chrome. So there are those in the set as well. Here's my suggestion. We all here in this podcast, we don't like sticker autos, but limiting the sticker autos to a set like this to keep it cheap, cool. And you know what? Let's just really go a step further, and sticker autos only go into these cheap sets. Okay, let's just take it out.
100% down with that. Yeah. Absolutely.
Take it out of Topps Chrome, whatever.
Yeah.
We don't need it. Let's just put it all in a set like Pro Debut. Keep it under $100. And and that's one of the things going for this set too, right? There's 4 autos you can pull out of the Pro Debut box.
That's cool. Yeah.
For $90, yeah, that's a pretty good deal. All right. On the other end of things, this hobby box costs $500, and it will be the last set we talk about for this segment. It is the 2024 Topps Chrome Sapphire, right? And the one big con, which we've discussed on a previous pod, is the huge checklist. Right, you got 700 cards because it includes the images from Series 1 and Series 2. You do have parallels as well, including the gold sapphire, which looks really nice, orange sapphire, which looks really nice, black sapphire, red sapphire, the pad perecha. How do you say that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I call it the pink one.
The pink. Why I don't know why they would name
It's the worst parallel name.
of something no one can
Worst.
pronounce.
Yeah.
Worst.
Isn't
But
that
it
the
is-
name of like a gem?
It's the worst.
Yes. When I googled it, I just see gems and diamonds. But it is a one of one. It is a
Yeah.
one of one, right? And of course you got the regular superfractor one of one. If you didn't know, the Chrome Sapphire autographs are all rookies as well. So like I said, $500 US. It comes with one auto though. So
Definitely not worth it on a rip. Like, it's crazy. 700 cards. Like, that is insane. Like, and let me just break this down to you. I don't know. I don't have the info in front of me, but I imagine it's four cards per pack, 8 cards per box.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you're talking 32 cards. So just building the set itself would be impossible. Like, you'd have to basically purchase, or like, let's just say you hit every single 700 and you're building the set. You'd have to rip probably 30 to 40 boxes to even like try at $500 each. Like, how ridiculous is that? Because let's be real. All the cards, all 700 cards are pretty much worthless. There's a select few that are amazing. I will say this. Mm-hmm. Rookie class again, amazing. That would keep the demand, but at this point, if you're debating whether to rip or just buy singles on this product, man. This is a perfect example of singles will be way more cost efficient. If you love ripping, and Sapphire has been known in the past for a brutal rip. It's not the best rip. I'll tell you that. And I'll tell you,
well, 700 cards. It feels like 100 cards.
700 is ridiculous, and it's like a blaster box pretty much you're ripping. So, yeah. But I will say, like, Sapphire has such a rich history just because of the Ronald Acuna Sapphire. I think that is what totally like kept Sapphire brand alive, and that Acuna Sapphire is such an iconic card in that 2018 set with having Ohtani, not that Gleyber Torres matters anymore, but you have a decent rookie class in there with Acuna and obviously Ohtani, heading it out. So I think there is that, they use that as the hook, but I think Sapphire every year goes down. Like, adding Bowman Chrome Sapphire, I think, is a mistake. Topps Chrome Sapphire doing 700, checklist is ridiculous. It's not Series 1, Series 2 is like crazy. Like, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
The Acuna year wasn't it like a, well, maybe I'm thinking wrong. Was it packs?
No, it was a box.
Or was it like a box?
Yeah, that was the first year that it was.
It was like 100 cards or something.
Yeah.
I remember watching Bill Hughes rip them. It was like a big pack.
It's like a big box, and you'd have to just go through the whole box pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah, so that makes sense. I mean, if you look at the growth history of Sapphire, it was that box, and it was super rare, really expensive, which made sense. And then a year after, they started going to like the packs, or the boxes, right, where it's in pack form. And that was coming off the heels of Sapphire being like ridiculously popular and super expensive, and very, very super premium. But that luster is kind of gone. So now people are complaining, oh my goodness, $39.99 for a blaster at Walmart. Like, we're talking like 500. This is like a ridiculous blaster box, and I don't think the Sapphire brand is strong enough to justify that price point. Not even close anymore. And then on top of that, you have a checklist of 700. So the odds of you hitting anything decent, even if there was 25 cards to chase, like you're ripping multiple boxes to maybe hit one of those.
I found some info on 2018. Just at release, it was $1,500 a box. Okay, but sorry. Hang on. Originally running 199. Sorry, 199 with 100 base cards, 3 parallels, and 3 autographs. Okay. And it was a 700 card checklist, but you get 106 cards per box. 3 autographs, 3 parallels
for
$200 originally.
106.
Yeah.
There you go.
So, yeah, just That just to put into perspective, like 100 cards per box is very different than 32 cards per box, and there's 3 autographs. Yeah.
You know, if Topps Chrome Hobby is like whatever the price is, 250, 300 for like a hobby box, and then Sapphire is 400, 450, 500 for a hobby box, not like a blaster box, for a hobby box. I think that pricing concept makes way more sense.
Right.
Because then you're getting 100 cards in a 700 card set. You're getting a lot better odds of hitting something somewhat decent like that. That makes more sense. But $500.
Yeah, this makes zero sense. Like, so you're saying that the guys at Topps are like, you know what? For this year's Sapphire product, let's lower the number of cards you get per box. Let's only give them one autograph, but let's increase the price double to $500. Like, I don't get what they're doing. And to your point, like, I'm looking at the 2018 Ronald Acuna Topps Chrome Sapphire rookie auto, a PSA 9 that sold last month for just over $1,000. So you're saying, you're hoping to rip 2 boxes trying to get a hit like Ronald Acuna. Like, even the prices are coming down for the Sapphire autos, right? PSA 10 goes for
oh my gosh,
13. I will say that card in particular, the Ronald Acuna auto, I would say it's probably his worst autograph card.
That's
just in general.
Horizontal image, right?
Horizontal image. Yeah. He's wearing like number 72 is like probably a spring training game, or it's some weird number. It's the back of his picture. It is an on-card auto, but his Sapphire base card always sold more than his auto
base cards,
which is crazy. Yeah. Well, and then you got to remember the print run on these is super low. Wow. So even that Acuna Sapphire, I think it was under 300, the print run. So these are limited sets. So they are pricier, but the auto, I would say Acuna's auto was a little different situation, and it's always been, I would say, the lower tiered value Acuna auto. Like, it would sell for less than like Topps Chrome, like a Topps Chrome auto.
I don't know. Now that you say that, there might be a play there. I might try to get.
I don't think you'll like the image. Something about that image is like meh.
I'm not a big horizontal card either, so maybe not. You're right. On the flip side, you have Ohtani in the 2018 Topps Chrome, so some of the recent sales.
The Ohtani auto is so sick in that set. That's the card you want.
Yeah, it looks beautiful. The red refractor, numbered to 10, BGS 9, autograph 9, still sold for $34,000 this month. You got your orange, numbered to 25, BGS 9.5, 10 auto, $18,500 last month. And then you got your regular Sapphire, BGS 9.5, 10, sold in June of this year for $13,500. So that's what's keeping those box prices up.
For sure.
The Shohei chase. Yeah. All right. So our advice, don't buy Topps Chrome Sapphire. Probably you're gambling big time, and you're just gambling. Better off.
It might be a hold.
You're burning money.
It might be a good hold though, like wax. Like if you're in it for wax, I think the rookie class is strong enough where if you don't want to go a one player, you have a bunch of players that might age well, and a $500 investment might turn into $1,000 or $1,500. I could see that, but that's a gamble too.
Yeah, that might be actually a better play. Because like we said with the Bowman Chrome rookie autos, you got your Ellie De La Cruz, you got Evan Carter.
I think it's
down the list.
I think
Jackson
pretty
Merrill,
good.
I think that would be
Holiday.
I think that would
Jason
be the
Dominguez.
only play, because this is a product you don't want to rip.
Yeah. Wyatt Langford, Jackson Churio. Yeah. Yamamoto. All right, good discussion. So there you go. I think after this, I'm tempted to just get the 2024 Bowman Chrome.
$279 is not bad.
You know, that's a good price point.
$279 is not bad.
Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, let's move on to our next segment we call Quiz Show. So it's been a while since the three of us did Quiz Show, where I was the host and had the two of you at the same time do Quiz Show, and we've done this format before where it's just one question and it's a list. So I want you guys to work together to fill out the list. And the question is, well, here's the context. There are 13 active NFL players with at least one of their cards selling for more than $100,000. All right. So 13 active NFL players, at least one of their cards sold for over $100,000. Can you name all 13? And I'm going to give you the one clue in football. I'll give you one clue. The active NFL players, all 13 of them are quarterbacks.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Well,
all right.
So
you don't have to do it in order. Yeah.
Well, not in first.
Yeah, Mahomes.
But
Mahomes is one, $4.3
Joe
million
Burrow,
card. Yeah.
Justin Herbert.
Joe Burrow. So you got the top three. Mahomes 1, Herbert 2 with a $1.8 million sale.
Crazy.
And Joe Burrow with a $1.7 million
Oh my
sale.
God.
So you could have bought that Joe Burrow or that Will Chamberlain SGC 10 that sold
Wild.
recently. Can you imagine being the Joe Burrow card holder? Yeah. So you got the top three.
Lamar Jackson.
10 more. Lamar Jackson, number 7.
Wow. Yeah.
192,000 was his top
I'm
set.
pretty sure there's a Brock Purdy up there.
Number 8, 186,000.
Wow. What's the better buy, the Brock Purdy or the Joe Burrow at 1.7?
I got to go with Brock Purdy.
Possibly.
That's yeah.
I'd imagine Josh Allen's up there.
Yeah, Josh Allen would be one.
Yeah. You just got to think of like
5,
quarterbacks from 2 years ago when the hype was ridiculous. Like Kyler Murray, he's probably up there.
No, he did not make the list.
Trevor Lawrence has to be up there.
Trevor Lawrence.
Number 4, 336,000.
Any newer guys like C.J. Stroud or Anthony Richardson?
C.J.
Like
Stroud, maybe. No,
Not
yet.
Not on this list.
Not yet.
not yet.
I think you'll see it.
Well, because it's Flawless and NT out. It's not out yet, right?
Yes, I don't think for that class yet.
Man, Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts, 144,000, number 9 on that list.
How many do we have?
So you have 8, 5 more to go.
Mac Jones.
Mac Jones, $100,000.
Mac Jones, Donruss base, $100,000.
Sorry, these are active players?
Yes, active player.
So
4 more. You need number 6, number 10, number 11, number 12.
there has to be an old school. Like someone who's been around.
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
Number 6,
Yeah.
225,000. You got it. So number 10, 11, 12 are younger guys.
Yeah.
Tua?
Jordan Love? No.
Jordan Love?
Tua.
Tua's not on the list. But I heard Jordan Love, number 10 on the list, 144,000.
Justin Fields.
Justin Fields not on this list. This one's kind of hard because I feel like they had their heyday, and so you'd be surprised that they sold, but just because they're just like tier 2, tier 3 guys now.
Right. Whoa, who are those guys? You're asking the wrong crowd right now.
Yeah, I'm tapped out.
One guy used to play for the Browns, got traded,
Oh,
and
is
now
he
he's
the dude? Oh, what's his face? Oh, I know who you're talking about. Oh my gosh, Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield,
Oh my
number
God.
12, 110,000. Yeah. So this last guy might be hard. I'm gonna give you a few clues. I don't know what team he's on, but
Who's the dude that got in trouble with the law? Is that is he on the list?
no, I don't think this QB got in trouble with the law.
This is a younger guy?
Younger guy. He might be a 3rd string, maybe a 4th string now, but he used to be the number 1 guy in San Francisco.
Oh, what's his face?
This is how fast quarterbacks drop. You
Right.
could be a stud one year and you could be a dud the next season.
Yeah, he went to the Super Bowl, right?
No.
No, I'm thinking of
Purdy?
no.
Oh, it's Trey Lance.
Trey Lance.
Trey Lance.
Number 11.
Forgot about Trey Lance.
Yeah.
100. Someone bought it for 132,000.
That is nuts.
It was a wild time for football quarterback collectors in 2021.
That was 2021. That had to have been
2022.
2021. Yeah.
Around that year, yeah. All right, well, you got those pretty quick.
That's all of them? Nice.
That was all 13. Good job. All right, let's finish this episode with our regular weekly segment we call Pick One. All right, Hyung, as usual, do you have one? I know you're looking
Yeah,
for
it was the
one while we're doing
$1.7
this.
million, Joe Burrow versus the Brock Purdy. No, I'll stick with baseball. Two guys that I think are super underrated in the hobby. They're more old school guys. And I'm gonna pick Manny Machado and Jose Ramirez. Okay, two guys that I think are gonna have great careers. I know Machado is. I don't know why he gets so much hate, but his career is ridiculous.
Love,
yeah. But there is a stipulation to this though, because I got Jose Ramirez, his rookie auto, 2014 Topps Chrome. He doesn't have a Bowman Chrome. Topps Chrome auto. We're gonna go with a refractor, PSA 9, sold for $334. Okay, numbered to $499.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you gonna pick that over a Manny Machado 2013 Topps Chrome, a blue refractor numbered to 199, a BGS 95 auto, 10 auto? Here's the stipulation though. Manny Machado has a Bowman Chrome auto. I'm talking about this is his Topps Chrome. So it's not his number one card, I would say. His Bowman Chrome is definitely his number one card. This is Manny Machado's Topps Chrome rookie auto, number to 199, a blue refractor, a BGS 95, okay? And it sold for just under $500. So
what was the Jose Ramirez one again?
It was a refractor, Topps Chrome refractor, PSA 9 auto, number to $499. That sold for $335. What's the better investment? Remember, this is Jose Ramirez's only like rookie auto. Or not his only, but I would say his main one.
Man, without kind of comparing stats and looking at their trajectory, I'd imagine their trajectory is pretty similar towards the Hall of Fame. Manny Machado, love him or hate him, he's got a decent spotlight on him. Like people know him. He at one point was a fan favorite to many. He rubbed some people the wrong way, but he's kind of akin to like Russell Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony, big spotlight on those players, and they're very polarizing. So I think because of that, when all is said and done, I feel Manny Machado's swan song will be very noticed versus Jose Ramirez. Like Jose Ramirez is just going to go under the radar, I feel like, just for the rest of his career. And clearly the pricing kind of shows that, right? Because you're talking about like a main card versus a secondary rookie card, and the pricing is kind of similar. So although it's not the main, it's Topps Chrome, yada yada yada. I'm still picking Manny Machado. I think his swan song when his career is done, I think will get really noticed, and there's opportunity there to take advantage. So I'm going Manny Machado.
I totally agree with John. Yeah, I totally agree with John. I think Machado could be like Bryce Harper, Early on, you got your haters. Yeah. And then at the end of his career, I think people will just appreciate him a lot more. And, like Machado was on Eric Hosmer's podcast recently. And, people just seem to like him more now. I guess he's kind of calmed down, relaxed a bit, and he's just playing the game. And from a card standpoint, I'm always going to defer to the lore count. Although he does have a Bowman Chrome, the 199 is nice. The blue refractor 199 versus the 499 for Jose Ramirez. And like you said, John, Jose Ramirez gets zero hobby love. I don't know if it's because he plays in Cleveland. Zero. The guy's a perennial all-star, a stud. Yeah. But I don't know, is he like, this is not a knock on Ramirez, but he's kind of like Trout. He's lost in a mediocre team, and the Cleveland's like been decent too. They just don't have the spotlight, on them like a big market team, right? So
Jose Ramirez has one of the best knockouts in baseball history.
Okay. Tim Anderson knows that, right? So
even
that didn't spike his value.
There has to be a card, man.
There should have been a Topps Now, like dual auto.
Topps Now, yeah.
I would totally buy that for sure.
So yeah, the greatest card in baseball history.
Leather gloves
that were used in the punches.
Yes. Yeah.
So they're both 31 years old. Manny Machado has a 57 WAR. Jose Ramirez has a 50.9 WAR. So they're actually head to head in terms of like career. I think Machado obviously had the better career. I think Jose Ramirez is a more polished hitter, but obviously, defensively, I think Machado is far more superior, I would say. And I think that's what Machado's known for, is kind of like very well-rounded, plus defender. I do like Jose Ramirez. I think he's a buy. I think both are. But like if I were to buy Manny Machado, I would definitely go for the Bowman Chrome. If I were to buy Jose Ramirez, I would actually go for the Topps Heritage, not Topps Chrome, which I think it's a better buy. It's long term. It's a better looking card. So just because of that, I'm gonna go Machado as well, because I don't love Jose Ramirez's Topps Chrome card auto. I don't like any Topps or any Ramirez cards rookie autos except for the Topps Heritage. I think that's a great card of Jose Ramirez, and I think he's super underrated. I think there's so much opportunity in Jose Ramirez long term. It's just a matter of, will he get the love? And just to put into perspective, does Mookie Betts in that era get the love he deserves? And it's a no. So there could be a chance where they might not get love at all. But there's going to be a point in time in the future that someone has to be like, this is ridiculous. And I know who it is. It's Scotty B Cards. He's going to buy up all the stock because he knows what I'm talking about.
He's going to be a Ramirez super collector. Yeah. That's a good one.
Nice.
John, you got one?
Yeah, we're going to switch over to basketball. And two super hyped rookies in their respective leagues. And I think the three of us, we well recognize anytime we're dealing with hype, there's going to be correction, right? So as much as you believe these two are awesome, there's going to be correction. So the question is going to become, which of the two investments, if you were to invest in one of these two players, which of the two would you lose the least amount of money? So your investment would be safer. We're going to go Wemby versus Caitlin Clark.
Lose the least amount.
Yeah, so which of your investments would be safer not to lose money? Because inevitably, these two hype players, there's going to be correction. Which of the two are you safer on if you spent money on them right now?
I'll go first. I think it's going to be, I'm going to choose Caitlin. Like, you would lose the least with Caitlin, because I think the peak of Wemby cards is so extreme. Plus the downside is also extreme if he gets injured, you know what I mean? Whereas Caitlin Clark has like a little bit of history, like the significance of Caitlin Clark to the WNBA and even to college women's basketball. I think that's going to bring up the floor at least, right? So, so simply for those two reasons, I think Caitlin Clark, it's definitely hyped, but I don't think it'll come down as dramatically if it does as Wemby could.
Man, I don't like this question, John. Because I'm still gonna go Wemby.
Wow.
Just because I can't put myself to buy like a Caitlin Clark card for that much money, like regardless, right? So I think I'll take the chances of Wemby continuing him being ridiculous for the rest of his career, right? So I think there's going to be a demand for it over it. Like, you got to remember, you're talking a fraction. WNBA is still a fraction of what the NBA is, a fraction. We're talking salaries, we're talking demand, we're talking a fraction of NBA. Wemby is the hottest thing in the NBA. We're not talking about LeBron, Steph Curry. We're talking someone who's super hot. And is he overpriced? Absolutely. Is he underpriced compared to Steph Curry stuff? Could be an argument, right? Like, still undervalued. but obviously Wemby would have to hold his own, right? So that would be my only thing. I do agree, though, that the right answer is Caitlin Clark, but I'm going to tell myself a lie and believe that Wemby is going to hold value just because I don't want to buy any Caitlin Clark cards. Me personally, I'm not into that. Like, that's not me. I have zero incentive. I'd rather have the Retrofractor.
Oh.
It has to be an auto, though.
Yeah. Same here.
Yeah, I'm going to go Wemby.
I actually want Caitlin Clark auto. So my answer is going to be possibly a little biased, but I'm picking Caitlin Clark like Clark. And it really comes down to, like you guys were kind of mentioning the right answer. Like, Clark, you kind of touched on it. Like, Wemby's hype and pricing was so severe that it can only be met with a correction that is somewhat severe, right? Caitlin Clark, there's a lot of hype, and by the way, both the hype is fairly real. There's a reason why there's hype. It's not just crazy hype for no reason. Like, Wemby is like a freak of nature, right? Like, we could be looking at a generational player. Caitlin Clark as well. Like, Caitlin Clark is already breaking crazy records. If she continues her path of this basketball, she could, I don't know, no disrespect to the former, players of the past. We could easily instantly be watching the best WNBA player of all time. And mind you, kind of like what Hyung is kind of scoffing at, we're comparing WNBA to the NBA. We're different leagues right now, but in terms of investment and going back to the core root of the question, like, which one would you lose the least amount of money?
So I don't like the question.
Yeah. It's not technically would you rather Wemby or Caitlin Clark. It's more which one would be the safer investment. And when it comes down to it, I believe of the two corrections, Caitlin Clark would be the least severe. So that's my answer.
Interesting pick one, but I like it. All right, we'll end off with mine. These are two big boy cards, and I just found this, and they both sold on the same day, September 2nd, both on Golden. So it was one of their higher end auctions. And I'm going to share my screen with you so you know exactly which card I'm talking about. The 2011 Bowman Chrome Prospect Auto. We're just talking about Prospect Autos. The Red Refractor, numbered to 5, of course, of Bryce Harper. Okay. PSA, what is this? PSA 9. You see that card? Mm-hmm. Beautiful card. And the one right below it. 2009 Bowman Sterling Red Refractor. It's hard to see, I rarely see this card, but it's a nice color match. Bowman Sterling, Mike Trout, numbered to 5, right? This one as well?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. One of one. Red Refractor, 1 of 1. It says right on the slab.
Oh.
But it is a sticker auto, as Bowman Sterling autos are. Both sold for around $190,000. What are you spending $190K on?
That's tough. That's a tough one. That is actually a lot tougher.
Somebody spending $200,000 on Mike Trout last week. That's gutsy. Holy cow!
But this is a 1 of 1, and I'll tell you what. This is the Bowman Sterling is normally not a card that I would be interested in, but every Mike Trout collector knows that this card is still respected. It's still a great card, the Bowman Sterling 2009 Mike Trout, because he didn't have any alternatives in 2009 but this card. So to be 101, that's a special card, right? And man, with it being Trout, I mean, it's an easy one if Trout obviously wasn't injured, but for me, I think Bryce Harper is underrated. I think he still has a long ways to go, though. I don't think he's in the same category as Trout, to be honest. I think Trout was more superior as a player, but the timing of it is definitely interesting. The 1 of 1 is the kicker. Like, that's so weird. Bowman Sterling didn't have a superfractor that year. For that reason, I don't like it. I don't like that the red is a 1 of 1. I'm going to go Bryce Harper. I like the legs that the Bryce Harper has at the end of the day because I still think Bryce Harper has a lot in the tank. I would like to see him win maybe one more MVP, and then now we're at three MVPs for Bryce Harper, 3 MVPs for Mike Trout. So I'm going to go with Bryce Harper. And you know what? If Trout comes back hot, then that's the wrong answer, but I'm leaning towards Bryce just based off where Mike Trout is right now and the fact that it's not a super fractor.
Phillies could win the World Series.
What's his face? Brent. Is it Brent? Deep value investor.
Yes, Brent Ware.
He's probably clapping at that answer right now. It's like, yes, Hyung knows what he's talking about.
But I don't know about that. He's big into like scarcity too. So the 1 of 1 could be a big factor.
Yeah, but I think his thing is always like going after like the main. Like
Yeah,
the scarcity,
true.
Like
and
the Bowman
main,
Chrome.
right?
Yes.
Yeah,
The brand
exactly.
for sure.
Yeah.
Agreed.
When you first show those images and you first pose a question, and I still don't really know my answer because this is kind of crazy, but I think it was easy to kind of avoid Mike Trout. That's kind of the easy answer. Like, yeah, his correction is it's coming and it's going to be really severe. Now that, while Hyung was talking, I got a little bit of time to think about it. Like Bryce Harper is, he's not going to go down as one of the greatest. He's going to be, I'm assuming, Hall of Fame trajectory. And there's a lot of, similar to Manny Machado, there was crazy amount of fans early on, then a bunch of haters, a little bit of a polarizing career, but now he's kind of on the path of being well liked again. Mike Trout, I think once upon a time, people believed he was going to go down as the greatest of all time. Not quite going to get there with the trajectory in terms of stats and perhaps even championships. But I think when you look back on it, Mike Trout is still going to be fondly remembered as one of the best of all time that just happened to get his career unfortunately cut a bit short because of injuries, right? And there's a lot of players like that in history, whether it's across NBA, whatever, that's still known as one of the greatest of all time, but he just happened to not have the statistical career that he should have had because of injuries. So I think Mike Trout will be more fondly remembered, and there's still so many super Mike Trout fans and super collectors out there. I feel like seems like the wrong answer, but I feel like I go with Mike Trout. Yeah, because of those reasons, like long term, I just think, and Mike Trout is people are like, Clark, you're living it right now. Like, I think people are still willing to wait one more time and one more time and one more time to see if he has that rebound, right? Like people are still not giving up, and even if he did call it quits, I think he'll still be fondly remembered, in a pretty high light. So I don't know. I feel like I'm going to pick Mike Trout. I feel like it's the wrong answer in terms of like price correction. Like this card could be worth $100,000 but in 3 months, but yeah, I'm going to go Mike Trout.
Okay. I'm going to have to disagree with you on one thing, John. I think Mike Trout is absolutely the right answer. And then you're talking like he just announced his retirement. He's going to come back, okay? So I got to believe that he's going to come back.
Spoken like a true Mike Trout investor.
Yeah, I might be slightly biased, but he has 86.2 WAR. He'll get to 100. I think he'll retire once he gets to 100. By any nook and cranny, he's going to try to stay healthy. Just get that 14 WAR. How long do you think that'll take? 2-3 seasons for him?
No, probably
4 maybe?
I would say 4. 4
seasons?
decent seasons, yeah.
So how old is he now? 33. So he'll be 37. That'll be a good time for him to retire. Hits the 100 WAR mark, Hopefully, I don't know how on the current team that he plays on. Hopefully he sees one postseason, just one more, And then I think there's a crazy stat someone said about Trout. He has like 14 at-bats, playoff at-bats in his career.
That's wild.
Something like that, you know what I mean?
That's so wild.
That's criminal, man.
Which is sad. It's just a sad
Angels,
stat.
come on.
Which is crazy because he has Shohei as a teammate for a while too.
Yeah, they had Ohtani. They had a good team too. They had some players on that team, man.
Yeah,
Pujols.
It's a shame. It's a shame. Poole, yeah. just a poorly managed team, I guess. But yeah, I'm going with Mike Trout too. I just can't quit. I'm going down with the ship. I'm going down with the Mike Trout ship. If it crashes and burns, I could say I was loyal to Mike Trout to the very end. All right. Okay, another great episode, guys, and thank you to all our listeners and subscribers. We appreciate you guys, and we'll have a brand new episode for you guys next week. Talk to you then. Bye. Hey, thanks for listening to Cards to the Moon. We'd really appreciate you subscribing to our podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts. And you can also connect with each of us on Instagram at 5cardguys, or you can follow Hyung at Integrity Sports Cards, or John at TradeU at Recess. You can also check us out at 5cardguys.com. Thanks again, and hope to connect soon.